Are you curious about the top trends for 2023 when it comes to podcasting? Welcome back to the As It Relates to Podcasting show. I'm Simona Costantini, podcast producer and agency owner, and I help podcasters just like you launch, grow, and monetize their shows. I'm so excited to be on here with you today because we are discussing some of the top trends that I've seen and I'm really excited about for 2023. Now, I'm going to take you through my top 5 predictions for the new year and beyond. And if something resonates with you in here, please do me the honor of letting me know. Leave a rating or review of the show or message me on social media to chat more about it. I absolutely love hearing from you. Words of affirmation are a huge love language for me, and you would absolutely make my day by letting me know. All right. In an effort to not take up all of your time today while you're listening to this episode, let's get into it. So, my first trend for you today is the increased use of AI and automation. Now, I really don't think that this one is a secret if you've been paying attention to how the world itself is evolving. AI and automation is a huge hot topic right now. Artificial intelligence is becoming increasingly sophisticated and is being used in a wide range of industries across the board, including podcasting. Now, in 2023, we can expect to see more podcasts using AI to analyze listener data, to generate personalized recommendations, and create original content. As technology continues to advance, we will see more use of this technology in the creation and production process of podcasting as well. Now, this could be the use of AI to transcribe and to edit audio, to generate show notes and descriptions, or even assist with the content creation process. One tool that I would love for you to check out and pay attention to is called ChatGPT. And actually, my friend Nick is the one who recommended it to me, and he is the whole first series on the podcast about your podcast foundations. So you can go back and listen to that episode or that whole series if you would like to. ChatGPT is an incredibly powerful tool and it's an amazing resource. So I've put the link in the episode show notes for you. Okay, podcast trend number 2. We are talking all about monetization. Now, podcasting has completely exploded in popularity over the last few years. It is a type of media that's been around for quite a long time, actually. And with this massive uptake in podcasting, especially due to the pandemic times, it shows absolutely no sign of slowing down anytime soon. It will transform and it will change. And in fact, 2023 will see even more investment in the industry as advertisers continue to recognize the value of having audio content and more people tuning into their favorite shows. They know that's where the listenership is, right? So if that's where your listenership is, of course, your advertisers are going to go there as well. But when we think of monetization, most podcasters automatically think about sponsorship. It's the first question that I get. It's actually the number one way my clients want to monetize their podcasts initially when we first start chatting. And sometimes it can be a little bit difficult, to be honest with you. And I do think that we will continue to see sponsors and advertisers that are more aligned to your product, to your podcast. So I think this is a key point here, is making sure that the sponsors that you're going and outreaching to are very well aligned to the niche that your podcast is. But the truth is, there are so many different ways to monetize a podcast. And I believe that we're going to continue to see advertising and sponsored content, but there's also going to be an uptake in the use of alternative monetization methods, such as subscription models, like a Patreon or a membership, or paid content behind a paywall. Now, this type of sponsorship is very important to consider because it is a way more sustainable way and stable and reliable way for you to make money as a podcaster. You are in control of the content that you're putting out there, and you get to promote it to your community and create that community-based listenership, which we are going to talk about in a second, but I think it's so important to consider. Now, this does come with the caveat that you will have to produce more content on a consistent and high-quality basis, though, for your subscribers, because if people are subscribing and paying behind a paywall, they want that little bit extra. So just to consider in terms of the monetization. Now, let's get into podcast trend number 3, which is interactive and immersive experiences. Podcasts have traditionally been a standard, typical audio format, but I believe 2023 and beyond, we can see an increase in the use of interactive and immersive elements like transcriptions, interactive audio experiences, or even VR content. Some podcasters and some creators have already been testing these different forms of media. And so it's really important to consider and pay attention to as you're continuing to grow and evolve your show. This could make podcasts way more engaging and allow for a wider range of formats and styles. So this is very important to consider because gone are the days of one-sided monologue podcasts, right? In the new year, you can expect to see more collaborative and interactive shows that involve the audience and create that sense of community. This is actually what's being created with the As It Relates to Podcasting show. I have co-hosts on every single episode, and the community that's built through that is way, way, way more in tune with one another and excited to learn from one another. I get to hear from my listeners way more often, and we have a Patreon community as well. So I'll just, plug that in there for you too. But we know as content creators that creating that community piece is so important when it comes to growing your audience and growing your listenership. Now, this type of audience and community can take form of, live recordings, Q&A sessions, or even audience-led discussions. It can also be tied in with your membership content, which I was speaking about beforehand, your subscription-based content, or all of the content that you have behind your paywall. And while podcasts are primarily an audio medium, it's really no secret that many shows are using those visual elements like video and images to supplement their content. In fact, I always recommend for my clients to record in video, even if they don't want to have a video show, because then that way they can use the video content to create social media content for all of your different platforms and you're not having to reinvent the wheel. So, needless to say, video is not going anywhere. And in fact, in 2023, we can expect to see more podcasts using those visual elements to engage their audience and enhance their listeners' experience. Okay, you still with me? We're going to go into podcast trend number 4. This one is diversification of content and format. Now, I think in 2023, we are going to see a lot more diversity in new ideas and new approaches from creators. Creators are always looking to push boundaries, always looking to explore new ideas and diversify their content. We could see podcasts focus on specific niche or communities, podcasts that incorporate visual elements like I was talking about in the last point, such as video or those still image graphics, or even video in the video, like I mentioned previously, or podcasts that use those innovative storytelling techniques. One of the biggest trends in podcasting for 2023 will be that greater push for diversity and representation within the industry. This includes not only the topics that are covered on podcasts, but also the people who are behind the mic. So expect to see more shows featuring diverse perspectives and diverse voices and diverse communities. It's kind of like saying, that old saying, but it's how we've always done it. That line does not work anymore. We get to be creative and produce the show that we want to create because there is no right or wrong way. There is only your way. So expect those new and creative and out of the box opportunities and experiences. And also know that it's okay if your content isn't that. Right? There is space for all types of content. And my recommendation is to always create your content from your heart and from your message. You will never go wrong. All right, let's get into podcast trend number 5. This one is the rise of niche and micro podcasts. Yes, popular and mainstream podcasts will always have their place in this space, but in 2023, we're going to continue to see the rise of niche podcasts that really cater to those specific interests and communities of the people who want to hear from them. From true crime and sports to personal development and pop culture, there will be a podcast for just about every single topic under the sun. I know that you may hear that and say, well, is there really space for my podcast? And I would say absolutely yes. People want different perspectives. They want to grow, they want to learn, and they want to hear information from all of the different angles. It's no longer one opinion that is correct anymore, but the opportunity to learn and hear from so many different creators. I also believe that we're going to continue to see this trend of micro podcasts. This is something that I've been recommending to my clients well over the last year because, in my opinion, audiences really want that shorter and bite-sized content. They want to hear their stories in the amount of time that they have to listen to them. So yes, creators like Joe Rogan will have those longer shows and continue to have those longer shows. But you always have to remember with a creator like that they have that established brand presence and they've had that for a very long time. So people know to expect that and people will listen in on different parts of the conversation at different points when they have the time. And so while long form podcasts can and are incredibly engaging, many people just simply don't have the time to commit to those multi-hour series, right? So in 2023, we can expect to see an increase in the number of micro podcasts, which are shorter episodes that can be consumed more quickly. Now, these shows are often focused on a specific topic or theme, and they can be a really great way to get a quick fix of interesting content. Overall, these are my top 5 tips, and it is a very exciting time for podcasting, and there is no telling exactly what the future is going to bring, as the industry is always changing and it's always evolving. That said, with these trends in mind, it's safe to say that 2023 is shaping up to be another huge, massive year for the industry, and we are going to see that continued growth. Now, if you're looking to start your podcast or launch it in the new year, I invite you to check out my online course. It's called Start and Launch Your Podcast in 8 weeks, and it is the exact process and systems that I use to start and launch and monetize podcasts for my clients. It's literally the most in-depth course that I could have ever created. I've taken every single thing out of my brain and put it into this course so that you can create your podcast in the exact same way that I would probably create it for you. So the link for that is in the show notes. Let me know what you think of this episode by leaving a comment, leave a rating, and leave a review of the show. Let me know that you're listening. Connect with me on social media. I love to hear from you. I want to hear what you loved from this episode, and I want to hear what your key takeaway was. So all of the links are in the notes below. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I am so grateful for you. Share it with a podcasting friend that needs to hear it and who will benefit from this information. And on that note, here's to you, here's to your show, and here's to 2023. See you on the next one.